Well, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Centerpoint Business Clinic, hosted by Centerpoint Public Library. I'm Octavia Karansky. I'm the administrator for a Facebook business group called 35215 Zone for Business. Every month we meet here and discuss common challenges that businesses have to contend with. In the past, we've talked about finance, staffing, time management, how to get more clients. This is the sixth video in a series of six. It's the last video. And so I thought I would do something a little different today. Instead of focusing on a single issue, I would take a couple of questions from our mailbag. People do write to us, to me, asking specific questions about their situation. And today, I thought I would end the series by answering a couple of specific questions from two real people. I hope that the questions I've chosen will be of interest to you and helpful. I'll just go ahead and tell you what the two questions are. The first is from Delcy C. And her issue is she cannot decide what kind of business to open. She says she has many interests and she would like to make a business out of one of them, but she is having trouble choosing one. The second question is from Calvin. It's just Calvin W. And his question has to do with delegation of responsibilities, which is a very real issue, especially for a small business who has limited staff. Okay, so I'll start with the first question from Delcy. I can't decide what kind of business to open. And I'm assuming, Delcy, that you have not been in business before. And so I am going to, if I may, make a recommendation before you make your choice. I am going to give you a rule of thumb about choosing a business. But before that, I'm going to recommend that you visit one of the many technical assistance services in Birmingham. They're all of them in Birmingham, to get a big picture on what being in business, what startup and being in business is really like. The Small Business Administration operates the Small Business Development Centers. There's one in Birmingham. Urban Impact is a nonprofit offering technical assistance to small business. Create Birmingham, which is funded by Rev Birmingham, I believe, offers technical assistance to business startups because they will be able to help you think through the challenges, the issues of business startup and growth, so that you can see that before investing too heavily time and money, if being in business is really for you. Self-employment is not for everyone. It is very risky, and if you're uncomfortable with risk and with uncertainty, self-employment might not be your best career choice. Also, they can help you develop a business plan. They can help you map out the steps to successful launch of a business. That would be my first recommendation. The second recommendation, and to answer your questions, what kind of business should I open? Of course, I cannot tell you that. I've never met you. But the rule of thumb is, and it's the best one I've ever heard, it's tried and true and definitely works, and it is this: find a need and fill it. Find a need and fill it. Look around the community and see what's missing that the community may need, and then see if that's of interest to you to do. Now, I recommend this because if you find a need, that means that you have a customer base to start with. One of the most difficult aspects of launching a business is finding sufficient clients who are willing to pay what you need them to pay regularly and over a long period of time. all that adds up to sustainability. It's not enough to have, your best 12 friends buy from you once. You need enough people to pay what you need them to pay often and over a long period of time. And if there is, in fact, a real need, some of that will be already present for you. So find a need and fill it. And once you find, you think you've identified a need, compare that to your list of interests. And if there's a match, that's great. That's great. That would be the business that I would choose. If there is not a match, that doesn't mean that you cannot open your business, Delcy. It means you may have to open your business elsewhere where there is a need. There's a mindset of, I sometimes run across, if I build it, they will come. This increases your risk, your exposure in business exponentially because they might not. 75% of new businesses, startups, fail for a whole host of reasons. And by just not knowing whether or not there's sufficient market increases your chance of failing, which is not the worst thing in the world unless you've invested, heavily in it. But we kind of want to succeed, yes? And so to increase our chances of that, let's find a business that, in fact, there is a demonstrated need for, and then prepare to open before we actually launch. Okay, I hope that was helpful. You are, of course, welcome to write to me, contact me, whatever means is most convenient for you for more details. Okay, let's move on to Calvin's question about delegation, which is a very important question. Now, Calvin writes that he's been in business for 5 years and he has 3 employees. If Calvin has managed to build a successful business over 5 years to the point where he can hire 3 employees, it means that he's doing something right. And because I'm going to get started alone, it means that he has nurtured every step of that business to its current level of success and has a standard in mind for how the product needs to look and how the service needs to perform. It is difficult to turn that over to someone. His fear, and he uses the word fear, I'm afraid to turn this over to an employee. His fear is well-founded. It's understandable and it's normal. Part of the answer, Calvin, for you is to hire correctly in the first place. If you did not watch my video on staffing, which was the last video that I made for the business clinic, and can be found on the Centerpoint Library's Facebook page and YouTube channel, you might want to watch that, because successful staffing begins with correct hiring. You want to hire correctly, and I tell you how to do that in that video. And you want to provide continuing education and training so that your employees know what they're doing and can, in fact, make the standard that you have already set. And you want to provide as much coaching and mentoring as possible, again, to make sure that they are clear on what your standard is and that they have been equipped to meet that standard. It may make it a little more comfortable. It'll never be like absolute, but comfortable is not bad. And again, Calvin, if you want to write to me, you can inbox me at 35215 through the group 35215, or you can write to me at info.35215@gmail.com, how you reached me before. Okay. Actually, I think we're actually out of time. We like to keep these videos to about 10 minutes out of respect for your time. And so I'm going to say that I hope that these videos have been helpful to someone. If not now, then at some point in the future. You never know when you're going to need to know something. They are, all of them, archived on the Centerpoint Public Library's Facebook page and YouTube channel. They are free for access, of course. As I said, this is the 6th in the series of 6th. And so for the time being, at least, this is it. Well, this is it, but it's not all. And so I hope you'll continue to investigate, research, learn, educate yourself. And before I forget, thank you, business owners, for what you do. You bring in revenue in the form of tax dollars and provide valuable services and jobs. And all of that helps to build a healthy community. It supports the schools, it supports everything. Business supports everything. And so I want to thank you for all that you've done for the community by being in business. And I want to wish you every success, every last one of you, every success in whatever endeavor you decide to go into. Delcy and Calvin, thank you for letting me use your questions. I appreciate it. I hope it was helpful. And to everyone else, and especially all the members of 35215, thank you for a successful year in building our membership. We launched in the end of March of this year. And we are now at about 180 members. So thank you. Other than that, I guess this is temporarily goodbye. And I'll see you soon, I hope. Take care.